Throughout much of its history, the film business has been very vertically integrated. To understand the concept of vertical integration, one has to be aware of the different stages in the life cycle of a media product like a movie or a film, right? First, you have the stage of production, all right? You have to have some company that actually creates and produces the film. Then you have to have another party that is responsible for distributing that film. You have to take that completed film and somehow get it out to some final destination where people are going to watch that film, such as in theaters, right? So you have to have companies that are involved in distribution and distributing films to theaters or other sites. And then the third stage in the life cycle of a film is exhibition. All right, the a place where people will actually watch a film. All right, and historically, the main site of exhibition for films was theaters. Right, where people would go to a movie theater, sit down, and see the film. Now, vertical integration is when one company controls more than one stage in the life cycle of a movie or a film. Right? When a company not only produces films, but then distributes them, and then somehow controls the exhibition of the films themselves. And in the classic Hollywood studio system, you had big companies like 20th Century Fox and Paramount that were completely vertically integrated. They were studios that produced their films. They had a massive network for distributing their films, getting them out to theaters. But these big film studios also had interests in exhibition. All right, in classic old Hollywood, the major studios owned prime movie theaters in big cities and urban areas. All right, so these companies were vertically integrated. They produced their own films, distributed them, and then showed them at their own theaters. All right, so it was a great business model for them because that meant that these movie studios like Paramount had guaranteed distribution and exhibition for their films. There was really no way that they could fail. Of course, this is very anti-competitive because it means that if you're a film studio that produces, distributes, and exhibits your own films, that makes it very difficult for independent film producers to get their films shown in the marketplace. For instance, if you're Paramount and you own your own movie theaters, you're going to show your own films. You're not going to show the films of some smaller independent film producer or director, right? So later on in the evolution of the film industry, you had the U.S. government really challenge this vertical integration in the film business. Now, the film industry is also classically an oligopoly. That basically is an economic term that refers to when you have a small group of companies, usually 4, 5, or 6, that control the market for a particular product. And clearly the film industry was an oligopoly because, throughout its history, you had, just a handful, 6 or 7 companies that largely controlled that industry. It's really interesting to look throughout the history of the film business and examine how this vertical integration and the oligopoly structure of the industry shaped and influenced the kinds of films that were made. One question about Hollywood films is, what is the role of the director of that film? And can we say that directors convey their own artistic vision or style in the film that in the films that they make? In the late 1960s and 70s, there was a new wave of directors like Francis Ford Coppola and Brian De Palma that became known for the very distinctive style of the films that they made, and this gave rise to the notion of the Hollywood director as the author of their film, or to use the French term, auteur, which suggests that the director really is the primary creative force behind the film that the director makes. I think this raises some interesting questions about what is the relationship between the director and the broader film industry within which they work. Now, some critics argue that historically, when you look at Hollywood films, for the most part, they are rather formulaic, that there is this corporate structure in film studios where films are kind of made by committee, and they follow this prefabricated formula, and they tend to all look and sound alike. So one of the questions is that so? Do Hollywood films, for the most part, follow some standardized template? Or can we say that within the film industry, we do have these authors or auteurs as directors that working within the Hollywood industry still convey their own distinctive style. And think about the films that you see. Do you see the director of a film that you watch as conveying their own artistic vision? Certainly there are, I think, the contemporary film directors that do have their own voice. Woody Allen obviously has had a long and distinguished career directing films that convey his own unique New York style character. Another example that comes to mind is Quentin Tarantino and his particular style of filmmaking. But again, it's an open question, which is how much does the established film industry provide the opportunities for a director to convey their own vision or artistic views, or is it more the case that film directors are kind of subordinated within a larger structure of the film industry that tends to diminish any kind of distinctive individual idiosyncratic style? One other, I think, really important point that this chapter makes is even with this a particular idea of the Hollywood author or auteur, most of the directors that have been acknowledged as being these authors have usually been white males that we've rarely had a lot of recognition for film directors that are people of color or are women. But that's slowly changing. The question is, are women and people of color provided sufficient opportunities to produce and direct their own films in the film business today?